What's something about owning a business or a trade business specifically that surprised you once it was actually yours and it was up and running?
I think the realization of owning your own business was the fact that you are responsible for the earning potential. If you have a slow month, you're struggling trying to figure out how to pay your bills. It's not like you can pick up more hours. You got to go out and look for more work. And it's a constant struggle trying to find a balance with that. It's a pendulum. Highs and lows, feast and famine.
Josh Simmons with Kicking Some Glass here in Baldwin County. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into some questions about who you are. You know, I know you. You and I are in a business group together on Wednesday mornings, but my audience doesn't know who you are. So when did you come to Baldwin County?
July of 2021. And we spent 5 months in a friend of ours' house renting a room from him so that we could figure out what we wanted, where we wanted to be. We looked at new builds. We looked at beach houses. We looked at property, living in a trailer, building a shop, living in a trailer. It was all over the place. But we just found that we were always traveling up to Foley, everything north of the beach. The beach is always there.
Mm-hmm.
It was more convenient for us to be up in Foley. And we managed to find a house with some property, and we put a bid in on it, lost it to a cash buyer, and then that fell through. Came back and they offered it to us. And we got it. So.
And you guys, you and your wife, you moved here from Colorado, correct?
That's right.
How has that been? That's a very different culture, Colorado and here. How's that been for you guys?
Well, a lot of people don't understand Colorado doesn't have snow all the time in the wintertime.
No.
You're a mile up in elevation, so your snow, anytime it falls, it's going to melt a lot faster. So it wasn't bad. It was beautiful out there. Loved living there. I miss Colorado. And I haven't had to live through a hurricane yet. So ask me how I like to live here. If I like living here after I've been through a hurricane, then I could probably answer it a little better.
I really feel like down here, people treat hurricanes the same way that people, because we moved here from Oklahoma, the same way people in Oklahoma treat tornadoes. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it seems like a big deal to outsiders, but then when you're here, nobody cares. It's like the same thing with Florida people and alligators. It's a big deal until you're from Florida and they're like, what? I don't care. It's just an alligator.
What's the saying in Florida? If there's water there,
yeah,
don't get in it. There's probably an alligator in it.
Right. But they'll just get in the water anyway because like alligators are, they're little pets. I don't know. But, in Oklahoma, when there's a tornado, everybody's like, all right, whatever. What are we watching on TV tonight?
Go outside.
Oh, yes, they 100% go outside with their coffee and they're watching it. They're taking bets on whose house is, like we lived through one, our first home, a tornado came right in our yard and pulled out, 600-year-old oak trees by the root, tipped them over and almost hit our 104-year-old beautiful Edwardian home that we had just spent $70,000 renovating. Just missed it though. But anyway, so how have you found the Baldwin County community has been in reference to supporting your business since you came down here?
Well, the community itself, with the people who are established, they are tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody's business, especially the people, if you happen to meet them, that are actual locals that born and raised and grew up here. But all in all, it's a great spot. I saw the benefit of being down here and the possibilities of having and establishing a business. But it's definitely a competitive market.
What did you do before you owned Kicking Some Glass?
I've done a lot of stuff, but majority of the time I've done a lot of warehouse manufacturing work. I've worked like assembly line, building cars, worked in the oil field for a long time. As a fracker, people don't like frackers, but they don't understand the process, and people hate what they don't understand.
People are always blaming it. I see it on the Facebook pages. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Somebody's like, it's the fracking.
Yep. Fracking's ruining the earth. It's causing the earthquakes.
I'm going to be honest. I zoned out a lot in school because I always felt like I was just too smart to have to pay attention. And like a lot of the times, let's be honest, I was correct. Because, like, I always aced all my tests, and I just didn't do any of the other work, and I didn't study. And so I zoned out. So I didn't even know what fracking was until, like, 2 years ago. And the only reason I know is because I kept seeing people complaining on Facebook, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I thought it was like freaking, like you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was like a substitute for the F word.
And it's FRACING, not no K.
Yeah. And so, well, then people are misspelling it a lot then, because I see it spelled like the F word. Anyway, so I looked it up, and people are just really mad about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never expected to be in the oil field. It was just struggling with some finances and looking for something that paid better. And I found an ad on Craigslist that said, if you're interested, this is a 6-figure salary. This is what we expect of you. Meet us at this bank on this day. And I was like, what kind of scam?
Shady.
So I called him and I said, what's the catch? How much is this going to cost me? Because some places would make you pay in order to be able to apply at certain companies.
Yeah.
But this was a newer company, and the only thing that sucked was it was going to be in North Dakota. And I did 3 years in North Dakota, and I told them when I started working locally in Colorado that if you try to send me to North Dakota, I will quit this job in a heartbeat.
Oh.
And that's what happened.
It's so funny that like that was a thing culturally back then, responding to Craigslist ads. That would not happen nowadays. I wouldn't in any period of time have responded to that ad. But, you know, I'm small of stature. Like, it's different for you. You're like 8 foot tall, big guy. You can go to whatever Craigslist ad you want to. Nobody's kidnapping you. There's no
I did a lot of work on Craigslist. I found a lot of oddball stuff that helped me get through some financial stuff. So it was a benefit at the time, but things change. Things get manipulated on there, and people take advantage of people.
How has the shift been for you from being employed to being self-employed?
At the turning point actually started in Colorado. So when I found out that they wanted to send us to North Dakota just to help take equipment up there, but I know what the lingo means. You might get up there and they say, we're shorthanded. We need some guys to stay. And then you're stuck up there working. But they were downsizing, condensing their crews. We were in the yard doing what's called busy work. So we were cleaning and polishing wheels and fixing equipment and doing just redundant, mind-numbing stuff in the yard. It's what they call where they report and all their equipment is at. But I heard rumor they were going to North Dakota. I told my supervisor about it, and he said, I don't know what to tell you. That's where the work is. And then I didn't show up for the next day. And my manager, the department head, calls, are you in the shop or the yard? And I said, no. Are you in your office? He said, yes. I loaded all my stuff in the car and I took it down there, and I met him at the door. I said, here's all my things. I quit. He's like, what?
Oh my word.
But what really sucked and drove it home for me is that I was in a dead end spot with the company. He didn't beg me to stay, even though I was one of the guys out of 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 people that were able to do my job. He didn't ask me to stay. It wasn't a big deal to him. There was somebody else that was going to take my spot. So I just decided to focus on glass full time. And that came to light with me when I got sent to Wyoming for 2 weeks. And I just signed up with Angie's List and Home Advisor. And the whole time I'm up there, I'm getting alerts for leads that I can't follow up on, but you have to pay those. You have to pay for those leads. So I was like, what am I doing? Like, if I focus all my time for this little amount that I've done so far working part-time, I could probably do 3 times that.
So where in this process, in this journey, did you meet your wife, Gina?
I was working in North Dakota, and it was 2013, and we met on a Plenty of Fish dating website.
What? I forgot about Plenty of Fish. I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, it was actually for meeting people back then. It was starting to get a little shady.
Yeah.
But I did this profile pic where you take a picture, and it was an app on your phone that would make you look like you weighed more than you did. So I had this huge shit-eating grin on my face.
Oh no.
With my hard hat on, trying to be funny. That was my profile
face.
picture. So luckily she was looking for a guy with a sense of humor, obviously.
What's something about owning a business or a trade business specifically that surprised you once it was actually yours and it was up and running?
That surprised me?
Mm-hmm. That you just really didn't expect until you were in business ownership?
I think the realization of owning your own business was the fact that you are responsible for the earnings, the earning potential. So if you have a slow month, you're struggling trying to figure out how to pay your bills. It's not like you can pick up more hours.
Right.
You've got to go out and look for more work. And it's a constant struggle trying to find a balance with that. It's a pendulum, highs and lows, feast and famine.
So you're doing glass replacement and glass repair, window repair, window replacement. What's a really common misconception about what you do? Like what do people think you do versus what you
I
do?
really love that you asked that question. So a lot of people, anytime I go in, I always try to get a story from them. Like, what's the issue? Why did it happen? What happened? Just tell me about it. But a lot of times I come in after someone else has come in and given them an option, and they try to sell them a whole window.
Okay.
But I like to give people options. You don't have to replace the whole window. I can do that for you. But if you just want to save some money and some time, I can just take the glass out of the window and put new glass in the window. And it'll have the same vacuum sealed. Well, I don't think it's a vacuum, but there's a space between the glass, and that's where the lowy is. And that's what everybody wants because that reduces the amount of heat transfer into the house. It'll help your utility bills, and it'll keep your furniture, your rugs, your floors from being discolored from exposure to the sun. But I can also fix parts on the window that are broken that help keep it open or lock it, or sometimes they tilt in. But there's a lot of functionality things that I can do to bring your window back to life. And it's true what they say, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It'll just sit there and rot and fall apart.
What's your favorite service to do? Like, what's your favorite project when somebody calls you and they're like, hey, I need a shower glass door replacement, or like, hey, I've got this window. What's your favorite thing when they call? You're like, oh, I love doing these.
My favorite thing is probably the glass because it's an easy service and it's a quick turn.
Yeah.
So the financial gain is better on that.
Sure.
But I really enjoy doing glass shower enclosures too. And that's something that I didn't do until I came down here, because I never say no to anything. I always say, let me take a look at it and see if I can help you or not. And that's how I got into doing showers. And there's a lot of intricate things that I've had to learn the hard way along the way. I've lost my ass on some, and I made out really well on some. But I always try to make it right. I always try to fix it. And I don't try to impose any more cost on the customer other than what was originally agreed on, if it was a mistake that I made.
Sure. For my perspective, my curiosity has gotten to me. So the difference between kind of my business model and yours is that I work mainly like B2B. Like I work with other businesses, and you work directly with customers. And I don't get a whole lot of people on my podcast so far that are working with the public in in a service blue collar setting. So I wanted to ask, do you think people undervalue trade work until something breaks? Like they don't realize how valuable and needed you are, and then they call you when something needs fixing, and then, do you feel like you're undervalued in that area?
Yeah, there's a couple of things on that. Realtors are one of the people who unfortunately have to deal with the customers that didn't think it was important to fix the 15 years that it was broken.
Right.
Until it was the day before they were going to sell their property.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they want it yesterday, or they want it 2 weeks ago, and they close in 3 days. But there's ways around that. There's things that you can do to move it along and accommodate the sellers and the buyers and make everybody happy at closing so that the sale goes through accordingly. But it's mostly the headache of the lead times and the demand and expectations that are put on you by the homeowners or the customers that you're working with.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's certain types of loans that, you can't qualify for a loan if your windows are not up to par, correct? Like I want to say it's like an FHA or some kind of homestead loan that you can't get if your windows are not sealed properly or they're over a certain age.
I'll have to look into that.
Okay. I was asking you. I was hoping you'd tell me.
No,
You should know.
well, the only thing I can answer with that is that if you do sell or purchase a property, there is a mandatory fix on items if it is health or safety related.
Mm-hmm.
So the glass can't be broken in the window.
Mm-hmm.
The window has to lock. It has to open in case you have to escape the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to open, it has to lock, it has to close, and it can't be broken. Seal failure is negotiable. That's a concession you can agree between the seller and the buyer that, hey, we'll give you a little bit of money to get it fixed. But that goes back to the people that don't really know that you can take the glass out and put the glass in, and it's not as expensive as buying a whole new window, waiting for it to come in, and then having to go through the headache and mess of having it torn out and then put in.
So I think a common misconception with windows is that older homes are the ones that need servicing the most. But I really feel like, and this is just you, again, you're going to know, and I'm not, so I'm asking, but I feel like a lot of the newer, quickly built homes end up having window problems too that they have to call you in for. Because, like, some of the D.R. Horton homes that go up really quick, I feel like I know a lot of people who own those homes, and there's issues with the windows fogging up, and that's something you kind of work with too, right? Like, you know why they're fogging up and you can fix it.
Right. And that's due to, it's called seal failure. That's when you get the foggy discoloration between the glass. Sometimes you'll see droplets of water and moisture build up.
So do you get a lot of calls for those new homes?
Oh yeah. We have I keep saying it like it's just me. Like I always say we.
It's okay.
But it's
good to say we.
So there's a subdivision in Craft Farms North, and then there's some other ones around that used a certain window line that they experienced a lot of seal failure, which was out of the ordinary. So the builder had so many complaints from people that bought the property from them that they made a deal with the supplier that they would honor a warranty claim from the previous purchasers, the people that own it, whether they were the original owners or not, and they would send them a replacement glass, but they would have to pay someone to put it in. And I find that they made it very difficult and frustrating to file that claim. So a lot of the older people have issues with technology trying to file it and add pictures to it and so on. And the process takes forever. And if they get it right, within 3 times, you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they want a little more to send someone from Pensacola, where the windows are originally from.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it for like half the cost.
Nice. So you mentioned we and I. So you're running this business and you're also doing all of the work. That's tough. What do you think's harder, the actual physical work or the running the business part?
Finding the time to run the business is the most difficult part.
With you having to do all the work, yeah.
I mean, it's some of the shower enclosures that I have done. I'm like turning my back real quick to try to make sure that I don't have a piece of glass that falls.
Oh.
And I haven't broken anything yet, thank God. But it would be great if I had someone to help me, an extra hand. That's when my wife or my daughter comes in. But the whole thing with trying to sit down for quotes and be on top of where the order's at in process, figuring out researching parts that for a window. Not all manufacturers put their names on it, so it's very difficult to try to nail down what the profile is, what the angle of it is, how big it is, how long, how thick, what the spring is like, the color. It's insane. But there are resources out there online, but it just takes a lot of time.
So how are you staying organized?
I'm very unorganized.
Okay, well, there's an answer.
Very, very unorganized.
What's the most expensive mistake that you've made?
Mismeasurements are always a big cost. Like glass is precise down here on the coast, and it's probably like this a lot of places. Nothing is level, nothing is straight, flush. So if you're even off a little bit, it's not going to look right. I've lost my butt on some big shower enclosures But it was just, I was like, well, I gotta get it done.
It is what it is.
And then collect the check, and then hopefully just learn from it and don't do it the next time.
How long has Kicking Some Glass been open? How long have you had it?
So I've been doing glass replacement for 17 years, working in and out. But Kicking Some Glass, I started Kicking Some Glass when we moved down here. So it was 2021. I think I started in November 2021, got the business license, insurance, all that stuff.
So when your business was newer, with all businesses, when you're new, you need to kind of build your clientele and you need to take jobs that it's not your ideal job. Have you ever felt pressured to say yes to a job that wasn't really worth your time?
My problem is I very rarely ever say no to a job. I mean,
well, that's a good business model.
Well, I had this, there's a guy that just recently I dealt with. This is an example, perfect example. He said, hey, a rock got away from my lawnmower and it hit my window and it went through both panes of glass. Can you fix it? I'm a truck driver. I'm only home on the weekends. And the only thing keeping an intruder out of my house is duct tape. So I contacted him after a couple of days of him trying to get a hold of me. And, I said, honestly, sir, if somebody wants in your house, they're going to get in, whether it's duct tape or a brick wall. I mean, if they want in your house, they're going to get in. But he lives up on the north of 10, so it's kind of a drive, and it's a little bit out of the way. And my whole thing is, I can't give you a cost unless I know a size and glass options and glass thickness. And if it's metal, if it's a mechanical frame, if it's a glazing bead. But I have to go up there, so I spend the time driving, and I measure it, and then I give him the quote. If he wants to move forward with it, great. Then I get the glass. I got to drive back there and do it. So it's just the cost doesn't really outweigh the effort, because then people question the amount of money you're trying to charge them to justify your time and your effort and the gas and the insurance and the material and and everything that goes along with it. Yeah. Then I dispose of the glass too.
Oh, how do you do that?
Luckily, I have the manufacturer that I get my glass from has a communal dumpster. If you buy the product from them, you can dispose of the glass that you're replacing there. So otherwise, I break it apart, which is the best part of working with glass, is getting to break it.
Can I help?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
So for my presentation at BNI, I was trying to figure out how to incorporate someone getting to break some glass.
And let me come practice first.
And the reason it's so fun to break it, because that's not something that you're allowed to do.
I know. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's a good stress reliever too.
Is there a way, whatever way you break it, is there a way to keep it from going everywhere or getting on you? Is it like, do you need to be an adult? Because like my kids would love this.
Yeah, well, so tempered glass is probably the best way. You can throw something at a regular piece of glass from a distance and it'll break, so I guess that wouldn't be so bad. But tempered glass has an edge on it that if you apply the right amount of pressure, it'll just pop and explode into a bunch of little pieces.
That sounds...
Or if you just tap it on the end with a hammer.
So satisfying. It has to be me. It cannot be anybody else. I won't forgive you. Do you think blue collar business owners get left out of the entrepreneur conversation?
Entrepreneur conversation.
So when there are big events and there are speakers at the events that are talking about their business and leadership and coaching, do you feel like your field gets left out of those conversations? Because like, you're the first glass person I've ever met in all of my time in networking events and BNIs and stuff. And so I just wonder, is it kind of a hard area to get into with your niche?
I think a lot of, I'm just a one-man show, small business. You've got bigger companies down here that have trucks, they have men working for them, they have storefronts and all that stuff.
But who wants that?
Who wants that headache?
Why don't
why don't you just keep it on yourself? Right. Why share it with anybody? But I think that with all that said, that those people feel the business is going to come to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the blue collar worker, I mean, he's there working for him. He's going to realize at some point, like just like I did, that I can do this and I don't have to have them take half my paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this for myself and earn whatever I feel I'm worth.
Well, on the consumer side of that, I feel like if I have, so for me, if it were me and I needed a window replaced, I've got 2-year-olds or two young kids in my house, and I would rather call the guy that I can know, and that's his business, that's his baby. It's not some guy being sent to my house who's getting underpaid and overworked. I'd rather call you because I can look you up online and I can see like this podcast, for example, or anything else you put out. And I'm like, okay, that's Josh Simmons. And he moved here from Colorado and he and his wife do this and this and that. And he's working by himself. So he's not going to come in my house and rob me because he's the only guy. It'd be bad for his own business. So I'd feel more comfortable having you in my home with my family than 3 guys off of a truck that don't own that business. That's not their baby. That's uncomfortable for me.
Right.
So for me, just as the consumer, I would rather have a small business in my home working, even if it costed me more. I like people I can trust and I like people I can know.
I've had people mention to me that since I am a one-man show, that I'm the person you see whenever I show up to measure it. I'm the person you see when you install it, and I'm the person you see if you got a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the salesman comes out and looks at it, then the designer comes over and looks at it, and then your installers come out, and then your project manager comes out and looks at it.
And you have to trust that all of these people are communicating efficiently behind the lines, and connecting the dots. And I would rather it be your baby when you're coming to my house even if it's just to fix my window. Like, I know you're going to represent your own company well because this is your livelihood. If you're hiring 10 people, for $12 an hour, they may not care about how your business is represented while you're in my home, and so I always try to go with local small businesses because I just trust it more, and the benefit of doing things like this is to let your community kind of know who you are so that you do build that rapport with them. Like, they're going to want to call Josh Simmons with kicking some glass.
And having your own business is like your kid.
Yeah,
no one's going to love it, feed it, grow it, take care of it like you.
No.
I mean, you can sit there and say he's loyal, he shows up to work, he does everything, he's careful, he's a good worker. But honestly, that dude doesn't like working for you. I don't think. I mean, it's a job to him. It's a paycheck. He's got to have that.
Right. Right. And his relationship might be unhealthy with you as the employer.
He might have some resentment.
Right. And he may take that out on his work, and so that's kind of, with my business, I'm very cautious about who I hire. A lot of my staff are related to me, in one way or another, whether by blood or some other way, people I know, because this is my baby, and I don't want you out representing me if I don't know who you are as a person. And also, I want you to be personally invested in my success. Like, if you're going to work for me, or if you're going to touch all the content that goes out for the clients, and this is my livelihood, this puts food on my table, I need you to care whether or not I fail or I succeed. If you're just somebody who's working for me for money, I get it. You got to put food on your own table. But like, if I'm not anything to you, I'm not a good friend to you, I'm not a family member to you, I'm not a great boss to you, and we don't have a good relationship that's personal, I don't feel like you can touch my baby and all my little babies, which are my clients. I want to talk about a little bit your personal life. So you have a wife named Gina who owns another business, Bama Beach Buggies here, and also she's kind of an influencer online. How does it feel for you owning a traditional business while you have a wife who's building a brand online?
It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
It is. I'll sit there and watch her live and throw her all the gifts and do the heart tip taps and try to help her however I can. But I love her for who she is and what she is and how she acts and what she wears and her flair for color and life, and she's fun, and I really enjoy her being my wife.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell. The first time that I hung out with you and your wife, we were at a chamber event, and it was the first time that I saw you with her, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is the most personality I've seen out of Josh so far. Like, you're at your best when she's with you, and I noticed that immediately. Also, like, you can tell how much you love her every time you talk about her. It's like you're radiating with love for Gina.
So I've definitely come out of my shell since I've been with her.
I think you come out of your shell more when she's around, period.
Oh yeah, I got to show off for her. It's like that bird that struts around with its feathers up
A
and all
peacock.
colors.
You're
Well, there's
strutting.
I'm probably not a peacock, but
Okay.
there's a bunch of birds and
Do you not want to be a peacock?
No, I don't want to be a peacock.
Josh Simmons, peacock. Anyway, so with your wife being a business owner and an influencer, which is a lot of work to be a creator online, and you having your own business, how are you guys balancing that at home? Like, how are you taking time? Like, how are you making sure that you're unplugging to be husband, plugging in with Gina and out with kicking some glass? How are you doing that?
There's a lot of things that we try to do to reconnect while we're being so busy, but there's the times when it's so crazy and it's overwhelming. And I remember this one time. So our house has a big open living room. It's a vaulted ceiling, and if you're looking from the front door to the back, the kitchen is under a loft area. So all of her office stuff is up there. It's called her lady loft. That's where she does her TikTok content and all of her crafts, and she's got a cat up there. And but I remember someone messaging us day of saying, "Hey, my buggy was supposed to be delivered. Where's it at?" I'm like, "I don't have a ticket here. I don't have a pull sheet." And she's up there. She's like, "Well, I'll print one off." And I was like, "This is crazy. What are we doing?" I was like, "Why in the hell are we putting ourselves through this?" And she's like, "I don't know." But yeah, it's overwhelming a lot. And it's tough to make sure that you're connected with your person, and there's times when we're not, and it reflects, and then we end up clashing, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we fighting about? And then we come back and I feed her sushi when she's happy, and get her Heath bars.
Okay, well, heart to a woman through her stomach, I guess. So when you're finding your center of gravity in your marriage with you guys being so busy with everything, what shared activities do you have? I know I talked to Gina a little bit and she said you guys like to watch movies together, but like most couples, you often, one of you falls asleep. So what shared activities do you enjoy doing together that make you feel more connected?
She really likes the beach. So we go to the beach whenever we feel like we need a C day, vitamin C day. She likes to do yard work. I don't,
She likes
especially
to do yard
whenever
work?
I'm exhausted. But she'll nag me enough to where I go out and do it, and I end up doing more than what I figured I would. So I kind of appreciate the fact that she pushes me.
How do you know? How do you know when Gina's feeling overwhelmed and disconnected from you and you need to tune in?
She gets emotional.
Yeah.
Yep. It gets overwhelming sometimes.
And so in your 10 years of marriage, you've just learned to see those cues and kind of, what do you do when you're noticing?
Oh, I'm
like
still
you
learning.
just, okay.
I mean, it's been a learning process. I was married 18 years, and that relationship is not like the relationship Gina and I have. So it's been an adjustment
Yeah.
on my part to learn how to deal with somebody new after being with someone else so long. And I appreciate the fact that she has brought so much more out of me. And if you talk to my kids, they'll be like, "I don't even know who he is these days. Like, he's totally different from when he was before." But I appreciate that, and I love her for it. And she She keeps me moving forward. I guess keeps me focused on stuff, grounds me, and pulls me back in when everything gets just like an effort moment.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, we all have those. I know that you guys, when you moved down here, you kind of left your family behind. So how's that been for you personally to just be away from your community?
Well, my family's all back in Missouri, so I left them a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But being there in Colorado with them, I like to be able to get back as much as we can. But again, the businesses, I mean, being a business owner, it's hard to break away.
So why here? When you guys were deciding to move away, why come here?
It was just an opportunity after Sally, a friend of mine, got out of the oil field before I did and wanted to open a business down here under his business in Minnesota. Roofing and restoration, and people were going through it. There was a lot of destruction. People were getting taken advantage of by other contractors. So we decided to go into a partnership, me, him, and two other people. And we were doing an umbrella business under his business up there, and financially it didn't pan out. So it got dissolved before it even got started. But we had come down so often, and Gina had come down, that we enjoyed the feeling that being next to the beach gave us, and the vibe of always feeling like you're on vacation around it, that we decided to put our house on the market right about the crest of the bubble for the housing market, when everything was really good and people were paying crazy money for houses, and we sold our house so fast. It was in a great neighborhood.
What market would you, or what niche would you like to tap into with your business? Like, what would be your ideal client if you could get more of those? What are you looking for?
That's hard to say. I want to say commercial, but I really don't want to have to deal with that. Commercial would be a big financial gain. Sure. But it also creates a lot more logistical problems, manpower, equipment, liability, and I'm not educated on that part of it. I haven't worked for big companies, and there's some down here that really work mainly commercial. But the home building side wouldn't be as beneficial either, because it's just a hole and you put the window in the hole.
Yeah.
So they can have their crew guys do that. And that might be the issue with some of the builders down here.
So really the answer to my question is you just need those people who live in glass houses that shouldn't throw stones.
I just need to find the kids that really like to hit rocks and shoot BB guns.
Oh no. I would never give my kids a BB gun, but I'm sure at some point they will start breaking windows. Right now they're just pulling everything off the counters.
I love hearing stories. Whenever I go to look at a broken window, I had one, and it was a friend of Gina's, was a realtor. Their neighbor had a broken glass on their sliding glass door. So Gina's friend's son was at the neighbor's house on the kid's skateboard, and the skateboard got away from him and went right through the patio door because they were messing around in the kitchen.
Oh, Lord.
And then another one was grandparents that had their teenage grandson living with them, and I had done some work previous, so they had called me again. And they said, we have a broken glass in the living room. And I get there and I said, how'd this happen? And they said, let me have my grandson tell you how it happened. And the grandson says, well, I just threw my phone on the couch and it bounced off the cushion and hit the glass and broke it. And I said, you got a hell of an arm. It made it through both panes of glass.
So he was lying.
Oh yeah, he chucks that thing because he was mad. He probably got grounded or something. Oh yes, he was throwing a fit.
So my only glass accident that I ever had, I was 4, and my mom had a treadmill in her bedroom. And behind her treadmill, she had a glass table as a nightstand. And I was absolutely not, under any conditions, allowed to get on that treadmill. But I have never listened to anybody my whole life. And part of why I'm a business owner and I don't work for anybody else is I just do not do well being told what to do. Never have. And so she was getting in the shower, and she said, because she had to remind me because she knew I would do it, I'm getting in the shower. Do not get on the treadmill. I said, okay. She got in the shower, and of course I got on the treadmill. So I turned it on, and I didn't know how to work it. I'm 4. And so it starts going fast, and I fell off the treadmill right into the glass table, and it shattered all around me, and I had a scar that goes all the way through here. And I remember there was just blood everywhere, and she took me to the hospital, and I didn't even need stitches. It wasn't that bad. But I was like, "Why is it bleeding so much if I don't need stitches?" And she was like, "Well, you just have so much blood in your head." And it's just been a joke in my family ever since then. Like, no matter what happens, if I do something dumb, they're like, "It's because you have all that blood in your head." And anyway, that's my only glass story. Not relevant,
No,
but
like bloody head nickname, nothing.
no, it's just anytime I do something dumb, they're like, "It's because you have all that blood in your head." It was just such a dumb thing to say to a kid. I don't know. It was just funny. But my mom just, what do you do in that situation? You're at the ER with your kid. But anyway, that's my only glass story. I didn't break a whole lot of glass. I was pretty cautious kid. I wasn't like a rambunctious throw balls through the window kid. My daughter, however, rambunctious, will probably throw herself through a window at some point.
Oh, I hope not.
We have you've been to my house. You guys have been to my house. We have that high dinner table. It sits up. It's like a big dinner table. It sits up high. And every time I turn around, she's on the top of it. And my floors are hard,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Get down." And she's like, "No," she's me. I don't know how it happened, but she just is a clone of me somehow. So anyway, if you had one piece of advice to give to the younger generations of aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to own a business similar to yours, what would it be?
Learn what you can before you go out on your own and do some research. I wanted to transition. I had a job, a constant full-time job on top of everything that I was doing glass otherwise. And that helped me get prepared financially to be able to get out on my own. But even then, I wasn't financially ready. No, nobody is. It's scary. It's intimidating. Educate yourself on whatever it is that you're doing. I know moving down here was a challenge because glass down here in Alabama is not like Colorado or Midwest. There's a lot of different types of glass, colored glass, laminated glass, impact glass. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I had to get familiar with so that I could service the area.
Real quick before we wrap up, how can I find you?
Well, I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over Angie's
So look at me, I don't know.
Advisor. What else? I am on Google. I like to ask how you came across my information anytime somebody calls me so that I can track metrics and see what's working for me. And I actually get a lot of hits off of Google. Maybe because of my keywords, kicking some glass.
Yeah.
So if your
It's very
windows are a pain in the ass, call kicking some glass. And if you can't get your windows clean, it's in between.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Josh Simmons with Kicking Some Glass. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it with all your friends. See you later.